but I'm very excited to bring in this guy, Sam Eguavoen. He may or may not remember. Miami Dolphins linebacker. Bring him in. I sat beside him in his locker, and I said, Sam, you're having such a great season with the Riders. NFL teams are talking about you. And he's like, really? They are? Do you remember that, Sam? And lo and behold, you're 2 years later in the NFL, and life is good. Is it as good as it looks?
Yeah, it is. Just knowing, like, everything I worked for, I'm finally starting to get the fruits of my labor, but the work has never stopped. Like, the NFL by no means and it's not easy at all. Like, every day your job's on the line. A coach once had told me, rent is due every day. Like, you never made it. The hay is never in the barn. So, every day you got to come to work, or somebody in the CFL, somebody in arena football, they come to take your spot. So I always think of, like, I was that guy in the CFL just waiting for somebody in the NFL to slip up and I can go and take his spot. So, I keep that same mentality now that I know it's a guy in Hamilton or a guy in Vancouver or wherever. He's waiting for me to slip up, and I'm not going to let that happen.
Good for you, Sam. And I know that about you. And today, if you've got the time, we're going to tell our viewers your story, because it's a good one. It's a motivational one. It's an inspiring one. But Sam's from Garland, Texas, and he played at Texas Tech, and he was with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. That's where we got to know each other, 2016, 17, and 18, and then signed with the Dolphins. He's been there the past 2 seasons. But, Sam, I got to say this. Your first game, I read a quote from you that tears were streaming down your face when you were coming out the tunnel at Hard Rock Stadium, or whatever they're calling it now, Joe Robbie Sun Life Stadium. Was that true? Were you almost... Tell me about that, your first game.
I usually, it was crazy because I usually don't even get, like, I don't really get my ankles taped before games, knock on wood. But I'm just so nervous. I'm running around. It's a preseason game, too. We're about to play the Falcons. I'm running around the place. I'm like, do I get my wrist taped? I get my ankles taped? Should I get spatted? Am I going to wear a sleeve? Like, I'm just doing all this crazy stuff in the locker room. Like, dang, what shoe do I put on first? Do I tie my left shoe, my right shoe first? Like, it's just crazy. And the second I hit the tunnel, I'm just like, yo, I'm in the NFL. Like, I'm about to play in the NFL. Like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, I'm like, man, I'm not even supposed to be here. Like, that's all I was thinking. Like, I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm here. And, like, I just couldn't help it. Like, I just feel tears coming down my eyes, like, before the opening kickoff. I'm just like, yo, this can't be real. But I mean, after that first kickoff, I actually think I made a tackle on that kickoff too. First kickoff, first NFL game, I made the tackle. Yeah, I mean, all those tears just turned straight into joy and straight into business, because we had a game to play. I had to make sure I had all my calls and plays right and things like that. But, like, that feel, I'll never forget that feeling when we're about to play Atlanta Falcons, walking through that tunnel, man. Never forget it.
I know, and I remember reading it. I watched the game, but I remember reading it afterwards. I think it was in the Sun Sentinel that you'd said that. And I'm like, yeah, that's the Sam, and I know how hard you worked through the work at a Foot Locker and answering the ad and going to the walk-on camp, right? All of that. But in that game, or one of those games, you led the Dolphins in tackles, right? Like, you were a demon. You weren't going to allow the Dolphins to cut you, if I remember correctly. Like, you earned your spot on the team.
Yeah, that was we played Tampa Bay. We actually had a joint practice with them in Tampa, so we were with them the whole week. So, I mean, just knowing me, I'm studying all their plays, seeing how they act, all their players, tight ends to running backs. And I'm just studying all that. I'm just like, man, I need a breakout game. Like, things are looking shaky. Things weren't looking shaky, but, like, I always got that mindset of, like, oh, if they gonna cut somebody, they probably looking at me like I'm on edge right now, so I got to do something to get me on the other side of the hump. And, just going into that game, I was just fully locked in. I had a forced fumble, a couple tackles for loss, a couple big hits. And I was just having fun out there. I just brought energy, and I felt like they seen that in me, and there's somebody that they wanted to keep on the team for, years to come. And, here I am now. Still battling, but that game really set the bar for, kind of who I am as a player. And I could just only get better from there.
Well, here's the thing, Sam. The team's gotten better steadily since you got there, and I wasn't really following the Dolphins until you got there, and then I'm watching Coach Flores, and I'm like, he doesn't have a very good team. He doesn't have a quarterback. How long is this going to last? And all of a sudden, the wins start mounting, right? And Fitzpatrick is balling, and you got some guys and you almost made the playoffs this year by a thread. You didn't, but you're getting better, and that's the key, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing. I mean, that's the NFL. There's no crossover game or nothing like that. You just got to win your division or just have a monster record. We're 10-6, didn't make the playoffs, but that's just the way the dice rolled for us. We fell short, but it's nothing that we're like hanging our heads down on. Like, I mean, hey, only one team can win the Super Bowl, and Tampa Bay won that. So, we always got next year, and we just got to build off of what we were doing last year.
Here's another Texas linebacker who's watching, Micah Eguavoen. He's watching the show, Sam. He says, Sam has been through a lot, but he deserves absolutely everything coming his way. No NFL team gave him any opportunity out of college. Next thing you know, he's already played 2 NFL seasons. Congrats, bro. I mean, you're over. It used to be the average pro season was 3 years. Now it's down to 1.5, the way teams are going through players. So you understand that you're beating the numbers there. Do you have a relationship with Micah? Do you know him from back in the day?
Yeah, that's my dog. Mike, we went to school together. That's one player that in college, like, I can sit and watch film with him, break down film with him, talk plays. I'm talking about from each position, from corner all the way down to nose tackle. We know exactly what everybody's assignment is. Like, I never really, well, now I'm in the NFL, I got way more players to talk to like that, but it's not many players that you can just talk ball with like that and enjoy talking ball with. I had some good teammates in SAS too, like Derek Moncrief, Creston Butler, Enoch Mwamba, Toby Antigua. I could really sit down and just talk ball with them, but Michael's one of the guys that, like, we just connect that way, like, just from physicality, the mental part of the game, emotional part of the game, because we both had so many ups and downs in college and even now in the pros, that we just connect on a whole nother level.
Well, Micah reminds me of you in the way that he hits on the edge, if I may. He's a very physical, ferocious linebacker, and I can't wait to hear where he gets his next chance, because you know what it's like, perilous times up here in the Canadian Football League right now, Sam. But I do have to ask you this. I remember when you tore your, I believe it was ACL, and you were lying on the turf at McMahon Stadium.
MCL. Yeah, MCL.
Lying on the turf in Calgary in a game. Were you wondering if it was all over? I mean, you talk about perseverance and coming back, but what was going through your mind that day?
A lot, because it was already hard going to the CFL. Not like getting into it, but it's just like the mental part. Like, so many people in my head, like, saying things like, man, don't go to Canada, man. They don't care about American players. Don't go to Canada. It's a waste of time. Don't go to Canada. There's no money. Don't go to Canada. You don't know if you're going to go to the NFL. So right when I got hit, I think I got cut by an O-lineman, illegal cut or something like that. I'm on the ground, and all those thoughts are going through my head. And I'm just like, hey, everybody was right. I should have got out before I got hurt. Now I'm hurt. Are they going to pay for my insurance? Like, what am I doing? I'm just laying on the ground, just like, yeah, I was having a good year. The first 6 games, I was playing good, but it was like, I'm so far gone from the NFL right now. It's crazy. Like, I'm reaching right now, and now I'm hurt. So the rest of the year I was out, and I was really just thinking, like, this might be over with for me. But then, I just went back for another year just to see. I was like, let's see if football is really for me. My back is against the wall again, because now I'm rotating with, I think I was rotating with Knox or somebody like that, Jeff Knox. Good player, good linebacker or whatever. But, I'm just like, hey, now I'm rotating the CFL. How in the world would an NFL team want me if I can't even start and contribute, good plays in Canada. Not to knock Canada, but just the NFL. Naturally, they're going to look down on the CFL. And I had a mediocre year 2017, so it was that off season after the 2017 season where I was really like, I really don't want to go back to Canada. You can ask some of my closest friends. Like, I was like, man, I'm about to just see if I can get out of this contract and try to wing it in the NFL or just stop playing football in total. And, I had some good people by my side and just told me, like my parents are like, hey, you made it this far. Just go ahead and finish out the year. Whatever happens, happens. You'll live to see another day. And I don't know what came over me, but that 2018 season, like I was just so locked in. Like nobody could tell me anything. I didn't know anything that was going on in the NFL. I didn't know anything that was going on in America. I barely knew what was going on in my household because I was so locked in on CFL football, so locked in on Saskatchewan Roughriders, so locked in on our defense, so locked in on what everything Coach Jones was saying, Jason Shivers was saying, Craig Dickinson was saying, and nobody could tell me nothing. And I had a great group of friends, teammates / roommates that I could talk to every day and talk ball with every day. Creston Butler, Toby Antigua, Derek Moncrief. And they kept me level-headed. I kept them level-headed. And, from there I just had a great season. I took every game, every play like it was my last. And then ended up having an ample load of workouts after that, NFL teams. And, now I'm here.
Here we are.
From me tearing my MCL in McMahon Stadium to now I'm in the league. It's crazy.
I was a half mile away from you in the press box, and I could see something was on your mind. And now I know what it was. From our viewers, A-Dog says, this interview is sweet. Some good stuff I did not know about Sam. From Tom Geiger, CFL is entertaining on its own, but Sam just highlighted another reason why the CFL is so important. Second chances. Yeah. Hey, Sam, before we let you go, I could talk to you for hours, but here's a dirty one. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but did they play Tua too early?
Hey, we were rolling. We're rolling. We didn't stop rolling when he got in. We didn't. Just some plays here and there. But, I mean, I'm a defensive guy, so anything we can do defensively to help the offense, I'm going to lean towards that. So there was a lot of plays that we left out there defensively to maybe cover up things that we messed up offensively, but I'm going to say we were rolling.
Yeah, I got you. You didn't answer it, and you shouldn't. I'm sorry. I was just teasing you. And by the way, we got your boy Moncrief coming in here on Friday. Derek's going to be in the bunker here with us. That was pretty sweet when you guys played each other here. What was that day like? You guys got to meet up on the sidelines before or after?
That's the thing, man. I'm blowing Creef's phone up the whole time like, hey, you going out for pregame warm-up? No text back. I'm on kickoff. He's on kick return. I'm like trying to talk smack to him. He's not saying nothing back to me. I'm like, Creef, like, relax. It's still football. Like, relax. It wasn't until after the game where we finally just chatted it up and everything. He's like, man, I'm just trying to focus, dog. Like, you over here talking to me. But, nah, man, it was all love, though. I knew he was focused and stuff. Like, it's my second year, whatever game. It's his very first game, first year. So I feel him. I was the same way. And there was no NFL preseason this year. So I wouldn't know what my mind would be at if I was in his situation. But, I mean, he played good. He played physical, aggressive. He was kind of annoying on the field because somehow we always ended up one-on-one versus each other. But, yeah, it was a great feeling, man.
I saw the photos. I'll ask him about it when he's in here on Friday. Sam, we are fresh out of time, but it's always good to see your face. Keep it rolling, man. Stay safe and warm, and let's do it again soon.
All right. Thank you, Rod.
Miami Dolphins linebacker Sam Eguavoen joining us.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.